don't count him out. I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, we could have a big upset, But I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point, and he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out?
This might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f*** is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there.
Boxing experts are giving their opinions on the surprising Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, and views are split. Many analysts say Joshua's size, experience, and Olympic background give him a big advantage, believing the fight could end early if he puts on pressure. Others mention Jake Paul's quick improvement, serious training, and willingness to face bigger fighters, saying he could win rounds with movement and countershots. Still, most experts see Joshua as the clear favorite because of his power and ring smarts. Even so, the excitement around Paul keeps fans interested, as many wonder if he can shock everyone again. Tommy Fury believes the fight is totally one-sided because of the huge difference in size and background. He talks about the reality of heavyweight boxing, saying top heavyweights train for years and have dangerous power that lighter fighters and beginners don't fully understand.
Beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f*** is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago. And now all of a sudden, he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on. Like, you can't be serious. You can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So
Eric Chisora looks at the fight through toughness and real fight experience. Having fought almost every top heavyweight of his time, he judges Paul by how fighters survive danger in the ring. Chisora believes Jake Paul has never faced truly hard moments against elite heavyweights, and the division is too brutal for experiments. He expects the fight to end fast. In his view, the size and strength difference between Joshua and Paul is so big that the fight would not last past 5 rounds. Chisora believes Joshua's power, size, and solid boxing skills would overpower Paul early, well before the halfway point. To him, the only question is how Joshua ends the fight, not if Jake can last late. He says if the fight goes longer than 5 rounds, it would mean Joshua held back or performed poorly. Because
know you say it's entertainment and there'll be a massive audience, but is there an element of danger as well? Look, AJ's a former world champion, and this is a guy, the best he's been in with is Tommy Fury.
Listen, he don't really care. In the boxing ring, it's the only place you can murder somebody and not go to jail. So, kudos to that. So if he gets beaten up and something happens, it's part of the game.
Well, I'm not sure that's a game that people will want to see, though.
Is it a real fight, though? Is this going to be a proper fight? You will know more than most.
Mate, let me tell you something. From how much they're getting paid, about 177 million, whatever, and they're splitting it down the middle. So I hope it's not a game, because I want to see some blood. I want to see somebody's teeth falling out. So I told Anthony, I already messaged Anthony. I said, listen, I tell you what, I said to AJ, if this goes past 5 rounds, everybody's going to be having a go at you, because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, people are going to be doubting you as a fighter himself. So he has to smoke him out like what he did Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia in 1 round.
Yeah, and I think you're dead right. Is he worried about that? Is he worried about what happens, if he doesn't see him off in the first round or the second round?
Nah, he's not worried about it. He's gonna smoke this guy out. I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna smoke this guy out properly. I'll be there. He's gonna smoke him. I can't wait.
Theoretically, if he comes out swinging, right, AJ should be able to get it done in are we talking 30 seconds? If AJ is giving it everything he's got.
Listen, if AJ comes in there and just blows on this kid, he's gonna just drop him to the floor. So I don't really. I'm just wasting money going to Miami because I know it's gonna be finished in 1 round. So you don't know.
Are you gonna go?
Joseph Parker's opinion is based on professionalism and consistency. He believes a fighter like Joshua, who was trained for years with top coaches and sparred champions, has many skill levels Jake Paul has not reached yet. Parker respects Jake's courage for taking tough fights, but feels Joshua is too skilled, too strong, and too experienced to be serious.
Has said that he's interested in doing Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul.
Let's talk about fights that make sense. Jake Paul's doing whatever Jake Paul does. If Joshua's serious about wanting to stay in boxing, then fight good, real fights, if that's what you want to do. I mean, if you want to go down this other road and do this, then that's by all means do it. But it's a different journey and it's a different pathway. I think as fighters who've been in the game for a long time, I want real fights. If I was given the opportunity to fight Jake Paul, would I take it? No.
Not even for the money, no.
No, like I want to be champion of the world. That's my goal.
Evander. Holyfield judges the fight based on mindset and fitness. He respects Jake Paul's conditioning and desire to improve, but believes Joshua has far more experience in long and tough fights.
I would love to see that myself. I would love to see that fight. Interesting.
Who do you lean towards?
You know, it's just gonna be. It would just be a good fight. It's a good fight, but you know, being the best. You know, because my whole thing, I don't want nobody to think I want somebody. I like boxing, and whoever wins.
David Benavidez Sr. gave a shocking opinion on the fight that surprised many fans. He believes Jake Paul is stepping into a level of danger he has never faced and that the fight could expose the limits of his fast rise in boxing. Benavidez Sr. says Joshua's size, strength, and championship experience create a situation where Jake could be badly hurt if he is not extremely careful. He argues that Jake's confidence and power will not matter again.
You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know. But I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point, and he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Do you think it's competitive? A lot of people are saying if AJ doesn't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it'll be a huge embarrassment.
I don't think that's not the case, that he's gonna get Jake Paul. At the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training hard too, and you know he's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he would take him out in 2-3 rounds. I think maybe in the later rounds, or it might go to decision, you know. But I don't think that Jake Paul can take AJ out. I mean, or AJ could take Jake Paul. Maybe, you know. But I don't know. It's just going to be an exciting fight.
Roy Jones Jr. shared an unexpected view on the matchup. He said the fight must make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially, calling Joshua a true former world champion. Jones confidently said that what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou...
Change subjects just a little bit here, and Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. 1, do you think it's good for boxing, and 2, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's the problem.
Lawrence. Okoli showed serious concern about Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua. Warning, it could be very dangerous. Although Okoli once sparred with Paul and praised his focus and mindset, he now believes facing someone like AJ, with elite power and skill, would be a bad mismatch. Many boxing experts agree. Eddie Hearn called the fight very dangerous, while Frank Warren said it favors Joshua because of his physical edge.
On this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously
seems
as someone
wrong.
someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it doesn't sit right. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally.
Former UFC fighter turned boxer Darren Till strongly backed Jake Paul. He criticized Saudi promoter Turki Alaljic, calling his comments hypocritical. Till said Jake goes into the fight with nothing to lose. He also pointed to what he believes is Joshua's weakness under pressure, saying Joshua is not mentally strong. Till believes
Anthony Joshua, as much as he's a monster, he's got a weak mind, hasn't he? So Jake could end up getting into it because Jake's got everyone eating out the palm of his hand. He's a very clever man. So
you really think he's got a chance?
Why wouldn't he have a chance? Look how confident he is. Mate, come on. Like, Anthony would have all the pressure in the world, and if Anthony didn't do him with the first few punches, he'd start doubting himself in his head because that's what he does. But no, Anthony should win, shouldn't he?
What do you make of Tyson Fury saying that he's going to put $1 million bet on Jake winning by knockout?
Tyson to leg it, lad. He's retired about 50 times. What's he on about, mate? Just tell him to leg it, and I love him. If he walked in here, I'd obviously...
At one point, you were good friends.
I'm still good friends, but obviously if he walked in here, I'd act like I'm not talking about him, but then on the camera I'm talking, Is this not what we're on?
Fair enough.
Is everyone not fake, or no? We all... What are we on here? Are we all acting like we don't hate each other? Like, come on. Like, what?
You're on absolute smoke.
Many people believe Jake Paul choosing to fight Anthony Joshua could be the worst decision of his career because the danger outweighs the reward. Fighting a former heavyweight champion puts him at serious risk. Joshua's size, power, and experience mean even small mistakes could be costly. Experts warn that a clear loss, especially by knockout, could hurt Jake's growing boxing reputation and slow his progress.
His mind, this is probably the worst mistake of his career. Even in the poster, you can see this is a David and Goliath story here. I mean, there's times where I thought Jake is a cruiserweight. There's times where I thought even he could be a light heavyweight. And now he's stepping in with one of the most chiseled, bona fide heavyweights in the world right now in Anthony Joshua. I'm about to break the internet over Jake Paul's face. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but it sounds fucking demented, terrifying. And speaking of the insanity of this thing, here is what the first line is. Jake as a plus 800. I have a feeling that's going to shift even more toward AJ. AJ's the 18-wheeler going 90 down the straightaway, and Jake is in a fucking golf cart going 10 miles an hour, headed right back at the 18-wheeler. It's going to be freaking destruction. Look at the reach. He's got a 6-inch reach on Jake, and trust me, the Chloe concept has told me the 6...
Former three-weight world champion and XITV boxing commentator Duke McKenzie strongly criticized the idea of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul. He spoke against the rising trend of YouTubers and MMA fighters entering boxing. McKenzie also mentioned Joshua's fight with former UFC champion Francis Ngannou.
And that they are actually in talks to have this fight before a possible fight against Fury.
Well, Eddie Hearn's a promoter first and foremost, and he's in the business of making money. I'm not so sure he's even thinking about anybody's, getting hurt or anything like that. That hasn't even entered his head. But it should, because somebody could easily lose their life.
That's quite a concern, isn't it? I mean, that should be the forefront of everybody's mind.
I think so. I think there's the fight business, and then there's the fight game, and the way they're talking about it, they're talking about it like it's a game. I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly, any way, shape, or form, and it'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete.
Former Olympic boxer and respected analyst Tony Jeff made a surprising case for why Jake Paul could beat Anthony Joshua despite the odds. Jeff believes Jake's biggest strengths are youth, confidence, and momentum, not size or experience. While Joshua has been through tough fights, knockdowns, and pressure for years, Jake enters fights with less mental stress and a fearless mindset. Jeff also noted Jake's rapid improvement, saying he trains with top coaches, spars high level, fighters and
look at the tail of the tape. Now looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost one. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury with Anthony Joshua?
At the same time, many fans and analysts have praised Jake Paul for bravely chasing a fight with Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury surprised many by calling the fight a 50-50 matchup. Fury believes Jake's fast growth, confidence, and strong work ethic make him more dangerous than many boxing fans admit. He says Jake's timing, power, and risk-taking could cause problems for Joshua, who has shown weakness under pressure before.
Possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
Even people who believe Jake is badly outmatched admit it takes real courage for a natural cruiserweight and new boxer to face a former unified heavyweight champion. Supporters say Jake Paul keeps pushing limits.
Jake Paul. The cojones this motherfucker has, from a Disney kid to YouTube to he can fight anyone and get views and make fucking money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony motherfucking Joshua. You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. I will say this, though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him.
It could even be close to being signed. To being signed. And like I say, don't be shocked when this happens, because like we say, there's going to be a lot of people that criticize it, but ultimately there's going to be a boatload of money to be the promoters, Eddie, Nick, the MVP. There's so much money involved in that fight. And if you're Anthony Joshua, it's a no-brainer. If anyone criticizes Anthony Joshua, you're a fool.
But Anthony, I mean, I've got to say this as well. That even though I don't think the fight should be sanctioned, I don't really want to see him in the ring against Tony Yoka. I don't think it does anything for him. If he fights anyone, he should be fighting Tyson Fury.
It's not,
in my view, it should be a fight with Tyson Fury. That's as big a behemoth, as big a commercial beast. Absolutely. You're going to tell me that Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is bigger than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury?
It is, commercially. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul commercially is bigger. But what I'm saying is, as a British boxing fan, and the amount of times, right,
you need to see Fury and Joshua.
I've been sat, even in this very studio, I've been asked about Tyson Fury against AJ. We have to see that fight before both of those two men sail off. I know Tyson Fury's retired and he unretires, he retires and he unretires, but we have to see that fight for British boxing. They both